Hey guys, so we have been in Mazatlan for the last 3 weeks. Today is July 27th. Monday, July 27th, and we officially made it down here on July 4th.
Yeah,
Yeah, last 4
that's
weeks,
it.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So just in case if you don't know me, I'm Maria Laura from Italy, and this is Kenny from the States. Maybe you don't know.
So, Maria and I met in Bali around December 2019. And as you guys have seen from my previous video from Corona Cutie, this is kind of an update, but not really. That deserves a full update in itself. But essentially the last few months after Bali, we've been talking and pretty heavily and decided to find a place to kind of move to together. It's kind of a crazy adventure, but I think it's one that, looking back now, over the months of planning, over months of researching of what countries are open, where we can go see is from Italy, and obviously I'm from Vegas, so finding a country that will let us in has been kind of difficult in the initial beginning. I think we looked at places from like Tunisia and South Korea,
Tanzania, Vietnam, Indonesia, Portugal.
Yeah, and a lot of these places are obviously still in lockdown. Although I think our first main goal was to get to Bali, but Bali doesn't seem to be opening until like September, mid-September or whatever, and that's not even firm. So I think for the rest of the year, we're looking to stay put in Mexico, and we have some pretty good plan for the next few coming weeks and the next few coming months. We do have a 6-month visa for both of us. Will essentially run out in January 2021. So most likely we'll, depending on how COVID is preventing us from traveling or whatever it might be, we might be here for a while, which is amazing so far.
Fun.
Yeah. So today I posted a question on social, since it is our 3rd week here, asking if you guys, friends and family, have questions about how it is here and what the situation is down here. And we've got some really good questions. I just want to thank you guys for submitting all the questions in itself, and we'll be just kind of reading the questions right now.
Yay! So Amanda asked, what made you choose the place you landed? Do you feel safe there? Are you acclimating well? And yes, Amanda, I think we really do feel safe here. And Kenny found the place itself, Mazatlan. I really like the idea because it's close to the beach. It is safe. It's not too big, not too small. Yeah, and it's not so touristic as well. So really nice spots here, definitely safe, and yeah, we have acclimatized well, for sure.
Yeah, I think since it is like a beach city, people are more vibey, and people are generally more nicer in this area. I am one that's pretty careful about carrying my equipment around, especially hauling all my cameras and audio stuff around. But I've never felt in danger or anywhere like in near danger around Mazatlan. Like, we have not encountered any potential pickpockets and whatever it might be. Police for the actual city itself is actually pretty safe. There's a lot of tourist police in Mazatlan. Tourism is one thing that they're obviously trying to build on. So keeping tourists safe, keeping tourists feel like they can come back. Obviously, you don't want to go any dark alleys, and there are still areas within Mazatlan that are dangerous, kind of like in the boonies. And I think one of our Uber drivers said that there's still like obviously like drug dealers and narcos and whatever it might be, but
more outside.
Yeah, a little bit more inside of the city, not like where we're staying, which is Zona Dorado, or AKA the Golden Zone. So I mean, generally it is pretty safe, but like any country itself, you don't want to venture out into any dangerous potential in my area. I mean, like anything else, just be aware of the surrounding. But so far, we've encountered really good people, really nice people, and we couldn't be happier with our move down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take the next question. So Kevin O'Boyle asked, if the coronavirus didn't put a halt on the world, would you ever have done anything like this?
Yeah, I definitely would have wanted to see Kenny, and I'm quite the person that's ready to leave and start fresh in a different place. I've traveled quite a bit in the last years, and I sort of settled again in Italy. So it wasn't planned that I would like leave it again. And maybe, to be honest, I wouldn't left already this summer. I would have left maybe just for holiday or so, and then really, really leave by the end of the year. But you know, it's a difficult question. I think I definitely would have wanted to see Kenny, but I don't know what would have happened without the coronavirus.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Corona, I think both of us would still be in a position to leave our homes. I don't think we've stayed at home very much in our late 20s and our early 30s. I think especially for me, my whole goal from 2018, like mid 2018, was to leave the States, and this just kind of put a fast track and put a fast track on everything, and I think it allowed us the freedom and not having an excuse to leave, which is really good. I mean, even in the beginning we were wanting to be together so bad, and if it wasn't for Corona or whatever it might be, I think it really granted us that freedom to just do it. Both of us are still working digitally, and we're still grateful to do so and have the ability to do so. So, our major impacts within jobs or our economic impact, it's not really that harsh. So I think it kind of made the perfect plan, or made the perfect situation.
Played out well.
Yeah, played out really well.
How are you making a living? Good question. So thank you, Emmanuel. So I'm a yoga teacher, and I had my own place in Italy where I was teaching, and also some other small things. I was teaching my mental institution and so on and so forth, but I was all doing it in person. And with coronavirus, I had to go more online, which was a really good experience, and it sort of prepared me for what I'm doing now. And I've got to say that Kenny really helped me to start, like with building the website, getting out MailChimp and all these things. That was really new to me. But I'm now doing one-on-one work a lot more, doing that online, doing Ayurveda stuff, meditation, and just shooting a yoga video with him as well, or yoga video series. So this is how we're that's at least my part. Kenny is obviously helping a lot. We're doing stuff together now. And Kenny?
Yeah, ever since COVID shut down, like 99% of yoga teachers in the world had to kind of adapt and go digital. And with Maria in Italy, I think she was the first one in her village that actually went digital pretty fast. I think within that week itself, right? Within like 1 or 2 weeks. So I've been pretty happy with that. As far as for me, I am carrying all my equipment. I'm still editing freelance, doing some graphic design, some web design, whatever it might be. And luckily for me, I have a good amount of savings left, and living in Mexico is fairly pretty cheap. So it's not a huge burden for us right now. I'm still heavily taking clients. If you guys know anyone that is in need of editing services or website creation, holler. And of course, with Maria, check out her upcoming series that is focusing on bayous, meditation.
Yeah, exactly, different outcomes of different classes. So if you're more interested in yoga philosophies and how the different energetic effect works, that's for you.
Yeah, it's we're actually filming in this Airbnb, which is in like coastal area, and it has an amazing background. I think itself is pretty beautiful. But Manny, thanks for the questions. I miss playing basketball with you guys, and hope everything is well. So John asked, how much does it cost to live per day, living frugally? I think in the first few weeks, like first 1 or 2 weeks, we kind of splurged, kind of ate out pretty often, enjoyed the city, and didn't really limit ourselves to the Mazatlan experience, and even then, it's still fairly pretty cheap. I think lunch and dinner and breakfast for us is averaging about maybe like 300 pesos, 350 pesos.
Yeah.
That is for an actual meal, two drinks, and in my case, coffee and juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes coffee.
Yeah, so it's been fairly pretty cheap. I mean, $15. I mean, we're averaging about like $7, $8 per person for a meal, and I think that's fairly pretty great. I don't think we've spent more than like $50 on a meal in the last since we've been here. So it's fairly pretty cheap. As far as grocery goes, if you hit like local markets, the mercado, and like a lot of the fruterias, they're fairly pretty cheap. Like maybe like a week ago, we went to that big one in the middle and bought like a ton of vegetables, from papaya to potatoes to everything else within that, and that probably cost us like 140 pesos.
That was 2 bags.
Yeah, huge bags. I mean, these were like really good sized groceries. So you can really get by here. I don't know, probably like if you are eating out once a day and buying groceries, like Maria and I cook at home pretty often. So it's like we cook maybe like 2 times a day, like breakfast and whatever.
Yeah, depending, 1 or 2 times for sure.
Yeah. So it's fairly pretty cheap. I think you can get by per day here, like with 2 people, with like $20-$25 a day, if that.
Yeah, and I guess if you would, because we're also going to more pricey places often, so you could definitely go to the cheaper ones, or even if you're into street food, definitely good stuff here around as well. Have you learned any Spanish? Yes, we're learning Spanish. We're doing 3 classes a week, and it's really fun. And I think we're picking it up quite well.
Yeah, and this question is from Alicia, but I think we've taken a total of 5 classes.
We just basically started, but it's really fun, and we have this really awesome teacher, so it's just the 2 of us and her.
I think one of our goals as July ends and as we're taking more classes is, we kind of want to be functional and be conversational by mid-August, and I think that's pretty doable with our speed and the way we're picking it up and the amount of classes that we're taking. But it's been a really good experience, and me coming from the States and growing up in El Sereno and Alhambra, I'm kind of ingrained in that culture. And with Maria, she has a cheat code. I mean, Spanish is kind of similar to Italian, so she picks it up pretty easily. And I think we'll be conversating kind of hopefully by mid-August. We're doing pretty well now, but it's been really exciting, just learning a different language, not a different language, but diving into it and going to the culture.
Being able to order food in Spanish and having a tiny conversation. Yeah, it's really fun.
I think
recommend.
We get really excited about just being able to order something in Spanish. And I think that's a huge progress. And when we were first here, when we first arrived here, when we were kind of speaking English, and I mean, people do understand English here, but there are some places that don't speak it as well. So it's nice to kind of ingrain yourself in the culture and just realize that you're in a whole different country, and maybe you should kind of learn it from there. So Brian asked, how much preparation in total before you made the escape? Through looking at all the places that we're able to go and finding any potential barriers, whether it's for COVID or whatever it is, or financial reasons. We made a pretty good preparation, and there's a lot of research between that, especially in summer. We'll try to find someone that's a little more adaptable to the weather, and Mazatlan's been great so far. I think it averages about between 30 and 32 Celsius, which is about 90 degrees.
Yeah, but also preparation-wise, with for me, for example, I had to back down on my apartment, had to get rid of that, had to let all my students know, so work-wise and all of that. It was quite a bit of work, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, and then a follow-up question from Brian is, what are some surprising positives about living in Mexico you didn't anticipate?
The avocados are so good. That's one of the things. What else? Amazing sunsets at the beach, really beautiful sunsets just behind the water. Really good tropical fruit. Nice people, really warm people, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that was one of my biggest surprises too, is just how friendly everyone is. But it should be no surprise. I mean, it's a beach coastal city, but everyone's really friendly and warm and welcoming. And I think as tourists, that's really good to see. That's really really nice to see. But that was one of my biggest surprising. And even it's like one of the biggest things here. There's so much renovation here in Mazatlan, right? There's like on our street, which is the main like PCH kind of street. There's so much renovation, and they're doing so much construction with upgrading the roads and upgrading the sidewalk, and there's always new buildings in project. I think they're building a bunch of condos and a bunch of skyscraper buildings, but it's really beautiful. I just kind of seeing like when I was first scouting this, I was on Google Maps kind of like looking for our current Airbnb, and this wasn't even here on Google Maps, and that was like 2019, 2018. So just talking to our landlady and locals and just seeing how fast things are progressing here, it's really good to see. And it's really nice that a city kind of welcome tourists and is building as fast as it is. So that's always great to see. We'll be doing more Q&A hopefully every week or so. So if you guys have any more questions, write them down. I think our plan for the next few weeks is we're leaving Mazatlan in August 8th. We're purchasing a car from our landlady and driving down to smaller coast cities. Our first destination down is Punta, Monterrey, which is about 5.5 hours. It's super close. And hanging out there for a few days, maybe take some surf lessons, go surfing, and then going up to Mexico City. And that kind of depends, I guess, right now, depending on like if pyramids are open or what's open in Mexico City, but it's definitely a place we want to see. And then spending a few days there, driving down to Oaxaca, spending a few days there because Anita, Maria's friend, stated the artfulness of the city itself, so it's something that we want to see.
And then maybe ending up Tulum at some point, and staying a little longer there, see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's our end goal for this trip, is maybe going to Tulum, and depending on how long we are able to stay there or what's happening there, but that's kind of our end goal. But we decided to like buy a car this Saturday or Sunday, this past Saturday, and I think we were deliberating about that for a few days, and between flying, but we really just wanted to see the country in itself. I think it's a really beautiful country, and we're able to go around right now, so I wanted to just take that opportunity, and of course just be safe around it. But yeah, just shoot us any questions. If you have any questions, follow our journey.
Or any tips.
Any tips? If you guys have been to Mexico, I know obviously a few friends of mine live or were born and raised in this area. Shoot us any tips, any comments, where to go, where not to go, and where to eat. Especially in Mexico City, I think that's one of our most places that we're super excited about. So
hopefully things will be open.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until the next video, take care and be safe.
Bye.